celebrity, which you may want to tell you about later on. She's coming tonight and she's singing 3 songs for us, and she's doing it free of charge. So, to start off, can we just have a big round of applause for Bethany? Woo! So, I don't know about Bethany, but I'm really nervous. So, we'll do our breathing exercises. Right, this first song, so I really need you to be quiet because she's doing it a cappella. And for those who don't know what that means, that's posh without music. Okay? So, let's have a bit of silence and listen and pass you over to Bethany. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So my name is Bethany Hare. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Horsforth, so not that far away. I've been singing since I can remember, and I have my own charity called Bethany Smile, which supports children with life-limiting and life-threatening illnesses. So I've seen through my own charity, when I've done work, how hard it is to find performers that will perform free of charge. So I email charities all around the UK saying, if you need any help, let me know, and I'll perform free of charge for you. So that's what I do most of my time, just singing for charities around the UK. And this charity, when Richard emailed me about it, I was lost for words. I didn't know what to say, so I just, anywhere I can help. So singing, etc., whatever, just let me know. So this first song I'm going to, thank you. Thank you. This first song I'm going to sing is Adele, Make You Feel My Love. So I'm doing this one without music. So I hope you like it. I thought the words fit perfectly, so here we go. Thank you. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. Oh, I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I can make you happy, make your dreams come true. No, there is nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of this earth for you, to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea, and on the highway of regret, the winds of change are throwing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I can make you happy, make your dreams come true. No, there is nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of this earth for you, to make you feel my love. To make you feel my love. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So this next song I'm going to sing is Hero by Enrique Iglesias. So I heard the song and I always thought it was a bit cheesy. So I wanted to put my own twist on it. So it's brought back, and again, I think the words fit perfectly, so I hope you like it. Would you dance if I asked you to dance? Would you run and never look back? Now would you cry if you saw me crying? Would you save my soul tonight? Would you tremble if I touch your lips? Would you laugh? Oh, please tell me this. Now would you die for the one you love? Hold me in your arms tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can take my breath away. Would you swear that you'll always be mine? Would you lie? Would you run and hide? Am I in too deep? Have I lost my mind? No, I don't care, you're here tonight. Oh, I can't be your hero, baby. I can't kiss away the pain. I won't stand by you forever. You can take my breath away. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can take my breath away. Said you can take my breath away. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so this is my last song of the night, and this is I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free by Nina Simone. So thank you all for having me. Thank you. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. Oh, I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love
remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could have known how it feels to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. And well, I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. Oh, I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though I'm way overdue. I'll be starting anew. Well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. Oh, I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know, yes, I'd sing, because I know, yes, I'd sing, because I know how it feels to be free.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's again, thank you. What about that, eh? Absolutely. Let's have you. Come on, don't be upstanding for that. Come on. Thank you, Bethany. Woo! Right, I'm going to pass you over to Nazir, who's going to continue where he left off. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. And can I just say, Bethany is 19. She's raised over £100,000 for charity. And she is a hero, a real hero. And I want to pay tribute to her and hopefully, I mean, you see the shit on X Factor regularly. Don't you? You know that she is so much better than she thinks she is. We know she is. Can I say, this is the sort of a formal part of the event, and I just want to say a few words, if I can, before I introduce Eric to talk to you a little bit more about the foundation. But, you know, I've got, just like any parent in this room, I have pictures in my wallet where my money used to be. And we recognize how important it is to our legacy is our children. And as you know, it is, I can't even begin to think what it must feel like to not have your child growing up with you, as Julie and Eric have had to experience. But sadly, that's the experience of so many during my career. I spent the best part of 25 years prosecuting, more than half of that time as chief prosecutor in London and here in the northwest, well, not here, but in the northwest of England. And I was touched by the stories of victims and survivors who regularly told me that agencies, professionals, authorities were just rubbish at their jobs. And what they were saying to me was that the reason why they were being targeted, the reason why they were victims, was because we, the professionals, weren't doing our jobs properly. And I spent the best part of the early 2000s listening to victims groups, survivors groups, on a variety of subjects to try and understand how it is that we can improve the service that we offer. Most of you will know I mentioned 3 girls earlier on. That was the so-called Rochdale grooming gang that I prosecuted back in 2011. What you won't remember, I prosecuted Baby P, the case of Baby P, back in 2008. And one of the things that struck me about that case was it was easy to prosecute those who killed and harmed that child. What was more telling was how we as a society reacted. Because we have a blame culture. We always think that somebody's head should roll for something like that happening. And you probably remember the head of social services resigned. We then decided that social workers shouldn't be able to use their judgment, their trained experience, because that wouldn't protect these children. And so we introduced a tick-box bureaucratic process for them to be able to assess the risk that each child would face. And then hundreds of social workers left the profession because they felt unloved, unwanted, and they felt that their experience wasn't being used. And many of you will not know this, but in the year after Baby P's death, having now put in place this fantastic new process, more children were killed by their parents and carers than ever before. So it tells me something. It tells me that actually the knee-jerk reaction isn't the right reaction. That actually only way you can change things is by listening to victims and survivors. So when I moved to the northwest of England, one of the things that struck me was I wanted to understand what this issue of street grooming was. I wanted to understand what child sexual abuse was. We have to remember that, sadly, most children, the highest number of children victims, will be within the family, with somebody who they know will be their abuser. The second largest group will be online. And this is something you and I haven't really appreciated, understood, or recognized, or even addressed. Right now, for pennies, you can watch a child being sexually abused for you in real time somewhere in this world. That can't be right. And the third largest group of victims you will find within institutions. So within sports clubs, within places of worship, within the BBC, all manner of environments where people with power thought they could do what they wanted. And they did do what they wanted. But when it came to this issue of street grooming, nobody seemed to be taking this seriously. So I asked my teams back in 2011, do we have anything in your back catalogue that we need to look at again? And they brought to me what you now know to be the Rochdale grooming gang. And I said, they said, the reason is that these young girls, there's no way that any jury would believe them. They have very chaotic and troubled backgrounds. And my response was, that's the reason why they're being targeted. Because they know, the offender, the perpetrator knows that that child won't be listened to. So actually, we're colluding with the offender by not doing something about this. And so I reversed the decision that had been taken by others to prosecute those individuals. And in 2012, all of them were convicted. But, and it's a big but, you can't do things the way you've always done things. You've got to provide each and every child victim with a bespoke approach. You can't do tick box. One of the young girls, she only would get to court every day if the officer who was speaking to her would spend time with her, make her a bacon butty, put on a Disney video for her every day, in order for her to go to court and have the courage to speak. Now, no book, no guidelines, no guidance tells you that's the right thing to do, but it was the right thing to do. And then we had a court system back then that traumatized these young girls even more. One young girl, Girl A as she's now known, gave evidence for 6 days, cross-examined for 5.5 of them, talking about the most intimate things that have ever happened to anybody. And when she was being cross-examined by barrister after barrister, the barrister seemed to be enjoying it. And you know, we had to change that, and we did. And now there are ground rules hearings. Now no lawyer can do that anymore. If there are multiple defendants, only one of them can ask questions of the victim on behalf of all the others. So Girls A's experience changed the world, and changed the world for all victims. But sadly, she had to go through that. And then when the trial finished, I wasn't really ready for what happened then, because suddenly, Nazir, you are the expert, now tell us everything, what's going on. Well, you know, I've done one of these. But suddenly I had to try and explain what this was about, Why was it that these men were doing this to young girls? Why is it that authority after authority wasn't prepared to listen to them? I tried to do my best. I wrote various articles. I did lots of TV and media. But at the same time, even I didn't understand what was going on. Not then. But it was also important for us to start the process of dealing with all the other offenders. Not one of them should be allowed to get away with what they did. And so I led nationally for 4 years on all child sexual abuse, on all violence against women and girls. And you know, when I left the CPS in 2015, the prosecution agency, we had the highest successful conviction rate in our history. But there's a personal cost, which I think only my wife knows. There's a personal cost. Because back in 2012, back in May of 2012, the far right, who exploited these things because we weren't talking about them as a society, decided to come for me. Yes, I was the one that brought the prosecution, but I damaged their narrative. Their narrative is very straightforward. All minorities are the same. And so I damaged their narrative. So they set up some Facebook websites and the like, saying Nazir Afzal was the one that didn't prosecute these guys. And their ignorant followers came for me. And I mean they came for me. I'd spent a career prosecuting serial killers, the most horrible people you could possibly think of, but I always kept the work away from my home. Suddenly, I had a far-right demonstration outside of my house. I had a police officer stationed outside of my door for 3 weeks. I had to tell my children the Prime Minister has a police officer outside his door. I had a panic alarm placed in my house. My children had to go to school in a taxi for weeks because that was the safest way for them to be. I got 17,000 emails in 1 week calling for me to be sacked and deported. I was born in Birmingham. I don't want to go back there, ladies and gentlemen. But all it did was actually make me more resilient. All it did was give me the motivation to go after every offender. So we then set up what you now know as Operation U-Tree. So we prosecuted Max Clifford, Rolf Harris, etc., etc., etc. I prosecuted Stuart Hall. Some of you remember Stuart Hall, the BBC presenter. He was found guilty of the abuse of 12 young women going back 20 or 30 years. He was found not guilty of one. I had to go and see the one he was found not guilty of. And I said to her, I'm really sorry that I couldn't give you closure. She said, you gave me closure the moment that you believed me. And to my mind, sometimes a judicial outcome isn't the be-all and end-all. What people want, what victims want, is to be listened to and to be believed. And there's pushback. Over the last few years, there's been real pushback. They used to call me, the Daily Mail used to call me the Witch Finder General, because I was running all these witch hunts of people who were convicted, you know? So what? The point is that there are people who do not want people in power to be brought to justice. And I wasn't prepared to allow that to happen. I wasn't prepared to allow them to stop me doing, and my teams doing the job that they were doing. And so we've brought more and more offenders to justice. But I asked myself this question. Very recently, you probably read about Harvey Weinstein and the allegations made against him by various women. You also probably read about Kevin Spacey and the allegations made against him by young men. And when those allegations were made against Kevin Spacey, he was immediately written out of films. They completely deleted him from history. But when Harvey Weinstein had allegations against him by young women, we asked, the press asked, the media asked, what were those women doing in his room? What were they wearing? How much had they drunk? Because that's what the driver for all of this is. The driver for all of this is male power and male control. If we think we can do it, we will do it. And you don't have any say in the matter. And so don't let these people who want to push back on the progress we've made. Remember what drives this is misogyny. You probably don't know the original basis of the story of Sleeping Beauty. I'm sure you think Sleeping Beauty, she's cursed by some witch, she ends up sleeping in a coma for years, and then suddenly some handsome prince wakes her with a kiss. The original version of that, she's walking through a forest, she's raped, she goes into catatonic shock, she only awakes 9 months later when she gives birth to the child born of that rape. Disney didn't like that version. Men don't like that version. We prefer a version in which men are the heroes and we save women, when actually men, in that case, and in many other cases, are the reason why women are subjugated and oppressed and abused. We have to learn from what happened to Samantha and Kimberly and the hundreds and thousands of others that we have to sadly have to deal with on a weekly or monthly basis. We could fill that football stadium across the road many times over with the victims each year. And that's what we're up against. And that's why we have to work together to challenge this. It can't simply be something that we just deal with on a case-by-case basis. And the answer, as the Foundation evidently knows, is education. We have to start as early as possible. You probably don't know there is research out there that says you can identify the propensity to violence of a child from the age of 4. So why aren't we teaching young people about gender equality at 5 and 6? Why aren't we talking about sexual relationship education at 7 and 8? Why are we allowing people to take their child out of school when they should be learning about the things that are most impactful on their futures? It's not about asking teachers to do this job. I've met a couple this evening, I do not want a teacher to talk about these really grave subjects between French and geography. We should have a peer group. The best education, as any child will tell you, is that received from peers, other young people. My children don't listen to me. Why would somebody else's child do the same? Is it more important that young people listen to young people? And it's also about what you value. It beggars belief that an organization like this foundation and the hundreds of NGOs up and down the country have to spend so much of their time fundraising, when they could be doing the brilliant work that they're doing. 50% of refugees' time, which is the national biggest charity in this country in this subject, 50% of their time is spent fundraising. Wouldn't we not want them to do that 100% of the time, that they actually protect and save and rescue? But no, because we don't value it as a society. We somehow think, let volunteers do this work. Well, yes, passionate, committed volunteers should do this work. I've fed up with a number of times I've said to a young person, it's good for your CV, when I want them to do something for free. We should be valuing it, we should be paying it. We should be paying those of us those people in the National Health Service, in social work, in children's services, in teaching, in education, enormous amounts of money to be able to do this job full-time rather than part-time, rather than trying to fit it in amongst their other responsibilities. And that's my challenge to you, because it's not about just giving your time and giving your money this evening. It's about changing the society that we live in. It's about looking at your neighbors. I remember after Rochdale, a group of people said to me, do you want us all to be whistleblowers? Do you want us to grass up on our neighbors? And I said, we should be a nation of good neighbors. We should be looking out for our children and our friends' children and our family and everybody else's child. We shouldn't simply think it's just somebody else's problem when you and I know it's our problem. And until we realize it's our problem, it'll carry on happening in some street, in some town, and in some region. I started my journey 25 plus years ago when I met a woman at an event not unlike this one. And I noticed that she had her wedding ring not on her wedding finger, but on the opposite finger of her hand. And I said to her, why do you wear your wedding ring on the wrong finger? And she said, my family beat me and made me marry the wrong man. And I looked at her, and I saw a woman who's suffering daily rape, who is suffering hopelessness and despair, whose potential has never, ever, and will never, ever be realized. And that ring on the wrong finger was her protest. That was because, despite having the voice that she had, nobody anywhere was listening. And I made it my responsibility to listen. Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you so much. This event, I don't know, it's the third time I've been here, but it's the first time I've, in effect, been your compere. But, it is the highlight of my year. It's the highlight of your year. It's important to realize what it's about, and it's important to realize that it takes a couple of individuals to make something happen. And Julie and Eric, who who are what can I say? I pay tribute to them for everything they do. I pay tribute to them for the work they do. I pay tribute to them on a daily basis for the lives they save. When people used to say to me, why, when you see so much death and misery, I used to prosecute 150 murders a year. When you see such death and misery, how can you be so optimistic? And my answer was, we saved a life today. Every day we can save a life. And Eric and Julie, you save lives. So, I have the immense privilege of asking the co-founder of the Samantha Sykes Foundation, Eric Sykes, to come up here and say a few words.
We just give Nazir one final round of applause, please. I think he's stood there to haunt me. So how do I follow that? I've followed Nazir for many years. He makes me emotional. I listen to a lot of what he says, but what he always says is from the heart, and he's not. You hear some politicians on the television that say things to impress people in this room. Nazir don't. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't say it. If he has a difficult conversation, he will have it. So I will attempt to follow that. So I'm going to start with the easy bits. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. Great turnout as usual. You all look spectacular. Hopefully you're all having a good night and enjoying yourselves. So I just want to do the difficult bit, which is always difficult. A lot of people here have been before, but we have people that are new this evening. So Samantha Sykes Foundation, what is it? So March 9th, 2012, on a Friday afternoon, a girl called Kimberly Frank was brutally murdered by Ahmed Otak at approximately 2:30 in the afternoon. Ahmed Otak held a girl hostage and made her in Samantha to go to the flat because part of the reason was he wanted her car and he also had a dislike of women. When Samantha arrived at the flat, she was murdered instantly. He never said anything to her. He just attacked her and killed her outright. Samantha died extremely quickly. So, following the murder, Ahmed Otak attempted to get out of the country. He stole Samantha's car and travelled to Dover, where he was captured trying to leave the country. What probably many people, and I don't think even some of my family know, is this week, yesterday, Ahmed Otak was sentenced to 34 years. But the week before this, we've put this event on tonight, and I've worked every night this week well after midnight, but every day I've thought about 6 years ago. Every day I've relived like Groundhog Day. So, because of what we do, we continue to do it. And we talk about today. It's my sister's birthday. But this day was one of the most difficult days in my life. What happened was, as you go through the year following the murder of Samantha and Kimberly, there are certain stages within that period that you kind of look forward to. So when he were finally charged, great. And we went all year. I went to every single court case, every single hearing. Suffered through a lot of them with my brother. My brother only missed one of them, but in general we were there all along. And yesterday, when he was sentenced to 34 years, I couldn't face the TV cameras. Julie, who's a lot stronger than I am, Julie stood up and said some very articulate words about what had happened throughout the period and what had happened to Samantha. So today, we went that day, and we didn't have a celebration, but we went to the local pub, and somebody actually thought we were the jury. We were sat there, and they assumed we were the jury, and we had to explain that Samantha had been murdered. But when we got up today, there was a realisation it made no difference whatsoever. Sentence somebody to 34 years will never fetch Samantha back, ever. So it was very difficult, and we kind of realised then that there was something that needed to be done, like Nazir talks about. It's funny, a lot of what he said today, I understand. I wear a black wedding ring, and I wear a black. I wear that for Sammy. So, after during the murder trial, what happened was we found out that Samantha had been helping lots of young people without us as a family knowing. So, as we progressed into 2013, we decided that she'd done something, what Nazir talks about when agencies should do it and other people should do it. There was an 18-year-old girl doing it. So we decided that we needed to do something as well. So that's why the charity was formed, because we could not do what Samantha was trying to do when she was alive. So that's a difficult bit out of the way. I'll not get emotional anymore, so I apologise for that. Right, so what does the charity actually do? What happens with what we raise here tonight? What a lot of people don't realise is people that have been sexually abused or have been in the care system, a lot of them have no family support. I know of people that have been living on the streets and going to college to get an education, but only 6% of care leavers move into higher and further education. So these people are living on the streets, not telling their class friends because they're embarrassed to admit that they live on the streets, but they're trying to get an education to better themselves. Now, we cannot put them into accommodation. Kimberly Frank, that died with Samantha, was put in the wrong place. She was abused from being 12 years old, and when she died, she was in a flat with the same type of people that have been abusing her for 5 years. So what we do is we do the opposite of that. We allow them to make their choice of where they would like to live, and we pay for their education. So we help them with computers, books, coaching, mentoring, private tuition, anything to get them where they are. But what we do, we can't do with all of you. I hear people say, I've only put a £5 in, I've only put a £10 in. We helped one girl for £20, and for £80, we stopped a girl who was being targeted on her way to school by a certain group of individuals that were waiting for her in taxis, trying to abuse her before she got to school. And she virtually begged, can you get me a bus pass so I can get to school? So when you think you've not done a lot this evening, if anybody did read any of the text that goes around, what you all do is absolutely enormous. Don't think a few pounds does nothing. We've helped children from 10 years old, sexually abused at 10. I just, personally, I can't understand where that, where does that even start, think, go? It's, it's beyond belief. And we help people into the 20s. But as a charity, we don't meet many of the people because nobody wants to speak to a middle-aged man, particularly a female, and say, I've been sexually abused, I'm a care leaver, whatever. So quite often it's very difficult what we do. But there was a testimony on the screen that was going round, and we had a lot of testimonies from Huddersfield University here this evening. And we understand, and I've cried regularly, when I read what some of those people say. And you realise that, like Nazir says, we are making a difference. But I keep saying it's not me. You donate the money. I'm just a facilitator. We put it out there as a group. People apply to us, and if it's suitable, we put it. But we can't do it. And in the last, 3 weeks, we've probably spent £15,000-20,000. That is all raised from events like this. So when it says up there, be proud, I genuinely mean that, and my family and friends and Sammy mean that. So before I do get over emotional, we've got a young lady. We've had a very successful year this year. We met Prince Andrew. It might surprise a few people here to know I didn't go and talk to him. I sent my son Ben, because I don't think his language quite matches with how I speak. So I kind of kept in the background. If you look at the pictures, there's very few pictures of me there. So Benjamin went and spoke to him. But before we were awarded the Duke of York Community Initiative from Prince Andrew, a girl called Sana Mahmood spoke on our behalf for us to be able to receive that award. And I'd like to invite Sana up here. I think she's got a letter from somebody called Andy that she wants to read out. So Sana, please come forward. You stopping down there? I'm hoping Santa's going to just explain a few bits about who we are. Thank you. She'll cry more than me.
Hello. Hi. Sorry. He emailed me. So, Sorry? Oh, yeah, he emailed me 5 minutes ago before I came. So, Prince Andrew emailed to say, thank you very much. He's also our Vice-Chancellor of the University of Huddersfield. And he emailed to say thank you on the behalf of the students of the University of Huddersfield for all the help that they have given and the financial support and and the support that they continue to give. So thank you very much. That's from Prince Andrew. So, just a few things from earlier this year. As you know, my name's Sana, and well, I did start off by saying that last year I wore too much moisturiser, so this year I've calmed it down because I saw the pictures afterwards. And again, I'd like to thank Samantha Sykes Foundation for the commitment to young people, and the trustees, and Julie for waiting in for all those parcels. I know how hard it is to sit and wait for Amazon and the laptops and all the support, and Ben and to his beautiful girlfriend, and Eric, thank you. And so earlier this year, I rang Julie and asked if she'd be happy to create some independent living skills packs and employability packs for care leavers, and of course she said yes. And the packs are for care leavers, and they're specifically for care leavers, and they are independent living skills packs and employability training packs. And there are many packs out there currently. However, we went to care homes, we visited prisons, we visited independent living units, and we wanted to create something completely unique for care leavers. So when they leave care, they can kind of leave care with the understanding. So for the first time, we will have young people who may not have any qualifications leave with 4 level 2 qualifications and 3 level 1 qualifications, because they're going to be credited. So, thank you. So, as a care leaver, I know that care leavers do miss out on certain things, such as good accommodation, spending Christmas with family, someone to give you away when you get married, and friendships. But we want to teach young people through hard work and the tools that Samantha Sykes Foundation provide, that you might spend Christmas alone, but through hard work you can do that with a nice mulberry bag if you want to. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sana. Sana does remarkably well. I know she thinks she doesn't do well, but to stand up here in front of a crowd like you, I always look at the lights so I don't think you can see me. So, but yeah, you know, Sana's come a long way. We've known her a couple of years now, and like a lot of the students at Huddersfield University, when the screen says we've helped 50 people this year, what it means is we've helped 50 new people. People like Sana, that is supported by the Samantha Sykes Foundation, is supported along with many others, last year with 65, but we have to support them this year. So the 50 is 50 new. So we're probably looking currently on our portfolio, we're probably over 200 people that we're currently helping, but again with your help. So we all talk about charity and everything else and digging deep, and you know we try to keep a bit of a even keel on this. We don't come begging for money, you know, not everybody can afford to donate, so we appreciate that. So we're going to have one last event to raise some money, which is the charity, the auction. Please, if you're bidding, make sure you're going to pay for it, because we have had people that bid and said, oops, I didn't mean to bid for that. So let's not do that. So we've got a gentleman tonight called Robin Brown. You'll know Robin because he's dressed like Coco the Clown. He's actually extremely worried, is Robin. I don't think he's used to this. I thought he was trying to escape out at back door, but he's toned his top down a bit. If anybody's got dark glasses, I think you need to put them on. So what we're going to do is very quickly, the auction will go on the screen behind. We'll do it very quickly. Then we've got OKTC, which are Yorkshire's favourite party band. After we've done this auction, let's forget about the charity and the misery that certain people have, and let's have a bloody good evening and have a few drinks. Thank you very much. Robin, where have you gone? Oh, he's lost, look. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just tell you a tale about Robin. If all the village idiots in the world had their own village, Robin would still be the village idiot. Right, so we'll start away over to Robin. Like I said, Robin is our auctioneer. Please, if you are bidding, we'll have spotters around the room. Make sure that you make yourself known. Robin will give it 3, 2, 1, done, and it's closed. If you want to bid, make yourself known. Robin, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head for London. We're going to Wembley Stadium and take in the stage one of the best bands in the world, Coldplay. Everybody sing!
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. I sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. 1 minute I held the key, the next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stands upon pillars of salt, pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword, my shield, missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter will come and it never an honest word. That was when I ruled the world. It was a wicked and wild wind, blew down the walls just to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for a head on a silver plate, just a puppet on a lonely string, or who would ever want to be king? I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword, my shield, missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter will come and it never an honest word. That I'll rule the world.
Hey, fantastic. Nearly took off the roof. Now, apologies to all the fellas in here, but just for a couple of songs, we want to see if we can make the ladies smile. A couple of songs for the girls, yeah? And then we'll do some rocking for the fellas. Are we ready, boys?
I've been cheated by you since I don't know when. So I made up my mind it must come to an end. Look at me now, will I ever learn? I don't know how, but I suddenly lose control. There's a fire down in my soul. Everybody, just one look and I can hear it away. One more look and I forget everything. Oh, Mamma Mia, here I go again. Mama, how can I resist you? Mamma Mia, does it show again? Mama, just how much I missed you. Yes, I'm broken-hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma Mia, now I really know. Mama, I could never let you go. I've been angry inside by the things that you do. I can't count all the times that I've told you we're through. And when you leave, when you slam the door, I think you know that I won't be away too long. You know that I'm not that strong. Just one look and you look away. One more look and I forget everything. Oh, Mamma Mia, here I go again. Mama, how can I resist you? Mamma Mia, does it show again? Mama, just how much I missed you. Yes, I'm broken-hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma Mia, even if I say bye-bye, leave me now or never. Mamma Mia, it's a game we play. Bye-bye, dancing me forever. Mamma Mia, here I go again. Mama, how can I resist you? Mamma Mia, does it show again? Mama, just how much I missed you. Yes, I'm broken-hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma Mia, now I really know. Mama, I could never let you go. Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia.
We said 2 for the ladies, yeah? Here's the second one. Get your Stetsons on, girls.
1, 2, 3.
I tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come alive. I jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the street the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Nearly getting by. It's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, for service and devotion. You would think that I would deserve a big promotion. You just move her hand and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. You let your dream just to watch them shatter. You're just a step on the boss man's ladder, but you've got dreams you'll never take away. You're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, waiting for the day your ship will come in and the tide's gonna turn. It's all gonna go your way. Everybody. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5. For service and devotion, they just use your mind. In the big promotion, well, move ahead, but the boss won't seem to let me. I swear sometimes that man is out to get me. 9 to 5, barely getting by, but they just use your mind. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, working 9 to 5, working 9 to 5.
I said 2 for the girls, but all the fellas who kind of like Dolly Parton, put your hands up. Hey, let's keep the music going. What about that auctioneer chap trying to take the mickey out of Wakefield Trinity? Eh? He offered to bring a Bradford Bulls t-shirt down, but we said, yeah, but there's no Super League badge on it. Nobody wants it. Ladies and gentlemen, a young Mr. George Ezra.
The garden was blessed by the gods of me and you. We headed west for to find ourselves in truth. What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? We counted our reasons, excuses that we made. Found ourselves some treasure and threw it all away. Oh, what you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. Oh yeah, let me see some hands. When I lose control and the rain's overused, blame it on me. Oh, happy faces. What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? Caught in the tide of blossom, caught in the carnival, your confidence forgotten, I see the gypsies roll. What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? Everybody knows the words. What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? Fabulous. When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. When I dance alone, I know I'll go, blame it on me. Oh. what you waiting for? What you waiting for? Know what you waiting for? Fabulous. Great to meet you all. Good evening.
Where's all the proper dancing people? Come on! Been working so hard, been punching my card. 8 hours for what? Oh, tell me what have I done? I got this feeling life ain't holding me down. Hey! I hit the ceiling, oh, I tear up this town. Oh, I gotta cut loose, I foot loose. Kick off the Sunday shoes.
Oh, please,
Louise, pull me off of my knees.
oh, Jack, get back.
Come on before we crack.
Just lose your blues.
Everybody got a foot Not playing so cool. Obeying every rule. And deep down in your heart, not burning universe sun. Somebody to tell you life ain't passing you by. I'm here to tell you that if you don't even try. Oh, I gotta cut loose, I cut loose. Kick off the Sunday shoes. Ooh, Marie, shake it for me. Oh, my Lord. Come on, let's go.
Just lose your blues.
Everybody got a foot. Whoa, whoa. First,
You gotta turn me around.
second,
Put your feet on the ground. Take a hold of it all. Oh, come on. I said, come on. I'm cutting it loose.
foot loose. Kick off the Sunday shoes.
Oh, please, Louise.
Pull me off of my knees.
Oh, Jack, get back.
Come on before we crack.
Just lose your blues.
Everybody got a foot loose, a foot loose. Kick off the Sunday shoes.
Ooh,
Marie, shake it for me.
oh, my Lord.
Come on, let's go.
Just lose your blues.
Everybody got a foot loose. Everybody got a foot loose. Everybody got a foot loose. Rocking and rolling, everybody after me. Repeat this little tune. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, 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 oh.
1, 2, 1.
Well, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Ooh-wee. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Ooh-wee. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh-wee. Well, she's so fine, fine, fine. She's so fine, fine, fine. She's so fine. She's so fine, fine, fine. She's really me, the finest girl you ever want to meet. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. The finest girl you ever want to meet. Well, have you ever seen a girl for whom you sold your gift, for whom you died for, fight for? Pretty girl till she's so fine. She her head to toe. I want the world to know I love her, so she's alright. She's alright. She's alright. She keeps me safe at night.
Everybody.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Petite, the finest girl you ever wanna be. She's like a honey from a bee, like a peach from a tree. I love her, need her, she means so much to me. She's alright, she's got what it takes. She's got what it takes, and with me she is. Well, girl, she's my cutie, my bathing beauty, my one, my only, my real cutie. She's alright, she's got just what it takes. She's got what it takes, and with me she is.
The late great Mr. Jackie Wilson. A little change in style for you now. This one kind of should bring us all together with a little bit of terrace type chanting, yeah. The only words you really need to remember are hey, 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 hey. Okay?
Won't you come see about me? I'll be alone, dancing in nowhere, baby. Tell me your troubles and doubts, giving me everything inside out. And love's strange, so real in the dark. Think of the kind of things we were working on. Slow change that pull us apart. When light gets into your heart, baby, don't you forget about me. No, 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 don't you forget about me. Will you stand above me, walk my way, or never love me? Rain keeps falling down, down, down. Will you recognize me? Call our name or walk on by. Rain keeps falling down, down, down. Come on! Hey, 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 hey! Don't you try to pretend. It's my feeling that we'll win in the end. I won't harm you or touch your defenses. Vanity and security. Don't you forget about me. I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. Going to take you apart. I'll put us back together at heart, baby. Don't you forget about me. No, 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 no. Don't you forget about me. As you walk on by, will you call my name? As you walk on by, will Come on, come on, come on, call my name. Call my name. And I say la, 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 la,
Wow, what singing, fantastic. Simple Minds, ladies and gentlemen. And just before Simple Minds got together, two very, very talented Englishmen were joined by a rather crazy American fella. They called themselves the Police, and they made songs like this one.
1, 2, 3.
Would everybody kindly sing this one for us? Come on.
Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
Come on.
Oh, can't you see you belong to me? I'm full of heartaches with every step you take, every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. Since you're gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only see your face. I look around, but it's you I can't replace. Feel so cold and I long for your embrace. Keep calling, baby, baby. Oh, can't you see you belong to me? I'm full of heartaches with every step you take, every move you make, every mile you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. Every move you make, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, I'll be watching you. Every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, I'll be watching you.
You know, it's always really, really nice when everybody sings louder than we sing up here. It sounds wonderful. Now, let's put it to the test even more. This is table versus table. Let's see which table can make the most noise with the singing, ladies and gentlemen.
I did my best to notice when the call came down the line. Up to the platform of surrender, I was brought, but I was kind. And sometimes I get nervous when I see an open door. Wave goodbye, wish me well.
Can we see some hands in the air, please? Oh.
Cut the cord. Are we human? Or are we dancing? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees waiting for the answer. Are we human? Or are we dancing? My regards to grace and virtue. Send my condolences to you. Pay my respects to soul and romance. They always did the best they could. So on to devotion. You taught me everything I know. Wave goodbye, wish me well. Louder! You gotta let me know. Are we human? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees waiting for the answer. Are we human? Or are we dancing? Will your system be alright when you dream of home tonight? There is no message we're receiving. Let me know, is your heart still beating? Are we human? Or are we dancing? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees waiting for the answer. Gotta let me know, are we human? Or are we dancing? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees waiting for the answer. Are we human? Or are we dancing? Are we human? Or are we dancing? My sign is vital. My hands are cold. And I'm on my knees waiting for the answer. Are we human? Or are we dancing? Are we human? Or are we dancing? Are we human? Or are we dancing?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're all here this evening for a wonderful, wonderful cause. And everybody from the organizers want to thank you for coming. We're going to leave you after this first little spot, as little get used to a spot. When we come back in 30 minutes, it's dancing all the way and there'll be no excuses for not being here or here. But let's leave you with a little story that we like to tell. It's all about the times when we used to go to school and the teachers back in those days used to rule the roost, yeah? We're going to use some words from a song by by a band called Pink Floyd to tell you the story of the English education system. Now don't be frightened, don't be alarmed. Would you kindly welcome onto the stage, ladies and gentlemen, the teacher!
Heads up, boys and girls. There's some naughty girls and boys out there, I can see. Oh, yes. Be prepared to proffer your hands for a tapping with the stick. Anybody chewing gum? We don't allow that in here, in my class. I want to see some hands in the air, boys and girls. This is primary school stuff. Everybody's capable of this. Even those of you at the back. Come on, let me see you. You all know the words. Here we go. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Those dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave those kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Okay, I can hear the voices, but they're not loud enough. For this school assembly, I want to raise the roof. This time, clapping and singing, okay? We can do it. Let me see them hands. Brilliant, here we go. We don't need no education. Fabulous. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave those kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Again, how can you have any pudding if you won't eat your meat? We don't need no education.
don't forget your homework. We'll see you very, very soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
love sneaks. My discotheque, Juliet, teenage dream. I felt it in my chest as she looked at me. I knew we were bound to be together, bound to be together. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We took the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Oh, come on, girl. Deep in her eyes, I think I see the future. I realize this is my last chance. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We took the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance. Don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me.
Get those requests in over here. It's disco time here for a little while before OKTC take to the stand again.
In the morning, like my mother says, when you gonna live your life right? Oh, mama, dear, we're not the fortunate ones, and girls, they wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have fun. The phone rings in the middle of the night. My father yells, "What you gonna do with
Got a request up next now. We got some Justin Bieber and Sorry.
You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty. You know I try, but I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time, cause someone call a referee. Cause I just need one more shot, have forgiveness. I know you know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. And by once or twice I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem on myself tonight. Cause I just need one more shot, second chances. Is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now? Take every single piece of the blame if you want me to. But you know that there is no innocent one in this game for two. But I go, and then you go out and spill the truth. Can we both say the words and forget this? Yeah, is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now? I'm not just trying to get you back on me. Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now?
Right then, we've got 3 requests coming in now. The requests are flying in thick and fast. So if you've got a song that you want to pick out, come up to the stage and let me know what it is. So first up on the list, we have got a bit of Beyonce, any particular Beyonce. So we'll take it back to the beginning when her and JC Vest got together with some Crazy in Love.
History in the making, part 2. So crazy right now.
I look to stare so deep in your eyes. I touch on you more and more every time. When you leave, I'm begging you not to go. Call your name 2-3 times in a row. Such a funny thing for me to try to explain. How I'm feeling and my pride is the one to blame. Cause I know I don't understand just how your love can do it, no one else can. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy, your love's got me looking so crazy, your love. When I talk to my friends so quietly. Who he think he is? Look at what you did to me. City shoes don't even need to buy a new dress. If you ain't there, ain't nobody else to impress. It's the way that you know what I thought I knew. It's the beat that my heart gets when I'm with you. But I still don't understand just how you look and doing no one else can. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy, your love's got me looking so crazy, your love. Looking so crazy, your love's got me looking so crazy, your love.
Young Hov, y'all know when the flow is loco. Young B and the ROC. OG, big homie, the one and only. Stick bony, but the pockets is fat like Tony. Soprano, the rock handle like Ben X2. I shake phonies, man, you can't get next to. The genuine article, I do not sing though. I sling though, if anything, I bling yo. Star like Ringo, war like a Greensboro wreck. Crazy, bring your whole set. Jay-Z in the range, crazy in the range. They can't figure him out, they like, hey, is he insane? Yes, sir, I'm cut from a different cloth. My texture is the best firm chinchilla. I've been dealing with chain smokers. How you think I got the name Hov? I've been realer, the game's over. Fall back young, ever since I made the change over the platinum, the game's been a rap one.
Got me looking so crazy, my baby. I'm not myself lately. I'm foolish. I don't do this. I've been playing myself, baby. I don't care, but your love's got the best of me, and baby, you're making a fool of me. You got me strong, and I don't care who sees, 'cause baby, you got me so crazy, baby. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy, your love's got me looking so crazy, your love. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy, your love's got me looking so crazy, your love.
Beyonce and Crazy in Love. We've got so many requests coming in. They're just flying in off the handles right now. Next up is a bit of Spice Girls and Spice Up Your Life.
When you're feeling sad and low, we will take you where you gotta go. Smiling, dancing, everything is free. All you need is positivity. Colors of the world, spice up your life. Every boy and every girl, spice up your life. People like the world, spice up your life. Step into the light, shake it to the right, shake it to the front, and go right. Step into the light.
I'm guessing half the room's got tickets to the Spice Girls reunion already then, yeah? Right, we've got plenty of songs coming up this evening. We've got some OKTC coming back to the stage very, very soon. But I have got a load of requests to get through. So next up on the list is some Clean Bandit. And this one is Baby.
Standing here in an empty room, I saw you there and my blood ran cold. Take me back to the long September, don't know how I ever let you go. I was young, didn't know about love, you were wild, couldn't get enough. Gave my heart to another lover, don't know how I ever let you go. Find me another place and time, if only you were mine. But I'm already someone else's baby. Guess I had my last chance, and now this is our last dance. You fell through the cracks in my hands. Hard to say it's over, but I'm already someone else's baby. Oh, baby. I'm already someone else's. All caught up in the way we were. I feel your hands getting close to mine. Don't say the words that I love to hear. The beat goes on and I close my eyes. Always young, didn't know about love. You were wild, couldn't get enough. Let's leave things the way they were. You stay with me like a lullaby.
Sé que te gustó a ti todavía por mucho que digas. Además puedo ver en tus ojos que no solo quieres quedar como amigos. Tienes mi corazón, eres mi obsesión. Soy tuyo para siempre.
Guess I had my last chance, and now this is our last dance. You fell through the cracks in my hands. Tell myself be stronger. My heart's like a rubber band, and it's such a shame. You'll always be the one who got away. We both know that deep down you feel the same. Hard to say it's over, but I'm already someone else's.
Eso no es amor,
Baby,
ese es mejor. Quiero tu calor.
I'm already someone else's. Wish I met you at another place and time. If only you were mine. This love story ends for you and I. 'Cause I'm already someone else's.
Mereces mucho mejor. Tienes color, no es amor.
Already someone else's.
Cada noche más te extraño, cada día sin ti me hace daño. Sabes que mereces mejor, lo que sientes por él ya no es amor. Por mucho que digas, somos más que amigos. Y el tiempo se acaba.
Already
En 4, 3,
someone
2, 1.
else's.
Gonna go a little bit old school now. It's some of the Weather Girls, and it's Raining Men.
Hi, we're your weather girls. And have we got news for you? You better listen. Get ready, all your lonely girls, and leave those umbrellas